Let's have a look at this pit bull culture. We got our special guest, Ginger Billy, back again. So, here Ginger Billy is going to talk about his special kennel that he has for his dogs. Now, I'm not really trying to single out Ginger Billy, but his presentation and his amount of followers is a perfect way to show just how this pit bull culture and dog culture is affecting our culture and creating anti-child sentiment, and also creating a situation where society at whole, via tax dollars, pays for these people to raise pit bulls, raise and foster and rescue fighting pit bulls, and put them back into the homes of people where these pit bulls kill people. This is like taxpayer funded human sacrifice. It really is. So let's have a look at our little Ginger Billy pit bull guy.
They're very good for containing children who misbehave. So over the last year, me and my wife have fostered a lot of dogs. We
My wife and I.
also have 5 dogs of our own that live in the house with us.
So, dude, how many pit bull bites do you have on your hand? Are those pit bull bites? That's very suspect. Well, okay, carry on. Tell us all about this luxury life that you have made for your pit bulls.
Decided to get us a kennel, so that way the dogs that we foster can live a life of luxury.
Okay, did you hear what he said? The dogs that we foster. When you foster a dog, you get to write off the expenses on your taxes. So you go and buy one of these, you can write it off on your taxes. American taxpayers will pay for this. This is taxpayer funded worship of pit bulls.
Can you let me out? Yeah, when you start listening a little bit better. Oh, and it's a very good.
Always with the anti-child sentiment. Why can't you just say, hey, we're fostering pit bulls. This is my super badass dog kennel. Why do you always have to throw in the anti-child sentiment? Well, I know the reason. The reason is because the people that watch this guy, they also have anti-child sentiment. They swarm to this stuff like flies to dog shit. Oh, look at that. He talked shit about his kid. I gotta go listen to that and talk about how much I hate my kid and hate my dog. That's exactly what this guy's followers do.
Good place to put children who don't want to listen. Now here's the inside of the kennel. Look, you see this stuff here? An 800-pound gorilla could not break out of this right here. That's how tough that stuff is. Look, it's insulated too. We put electricity in there so we can have light.
Electric bill that can be written off on taxes. Taxpayer funded electricity for dogs. Dogs that will likely end up mauling somebody eventually.
And that there is a shelf so we can put our dog food. I'm telling you, these are the most well-built.
So, there you have it. This Ginger Billy guy and many, many other people, they get to do stuff like this and write it off on their taxes because it is a quote-unquote foster dog from a tax shelter organization. Now, I don't know the specifics of everybody's situation, but if you're not being incentivized monetarily, there's no way you're going to sit there and spend thousands and thousands of dollars on equipment like this. These people get dogs and they're quote-unquote foster dogs. And where this guy lives is in the Carolinas. The Carolinas are famous for having dog fighting rings broken down all the time. Then those dogs go to shelters and humane societies. Then people can go and foster them here. Then they go to people's families, and then guess what happens? Infants get mauled. And look at the guy's property. Huge property, huge kennels. And this guy talks about dogs like they're nanny dogs. This guy brags about dogs being owned by presidents. More on that in another video. But people don't get it. Most people don't have a giant property like this where these dogs can sit there and bark all day and sit there and make all kinds of noise and not cause problems. Most people that watch these videos and listen to this over the top pit bull love, they have tiny little houses with these dogs packed full, chewing up couches, chewing holes in apartments. And the comments, look at the comments. This person says, I could use this for the pups here that are destroying everything in my house. Big dogs, little house. And if you go look at the replies to that comment, it's all a bunch of heart, love. I mean, look at this. 5 hearts, 37 thumbs up, 1 huggy. So people literally think that it is cool to have several dogs stuffed up in their little house. Nobody replies to this person and says, hey, maybe you should have less dogs if they're ruining your house. Nope. You need to get you one of these big old kennels here. Oh, the anti-child sentiment in the pit bull culture. I mean, it's there in the dog culture, but the pit bull culture, it's worse. Look at this comment. This is not even a rare comment. The best part of this is its location in the woods, so the children can scream and nobody can hear them. Oh, did I say children? I meant barking dogs. Well, either way, it's not even funny. And of course, this comment is packed with thumbs up and hearts. Why does the anti-child sentiment have to be included every time people go out of their way to proclaim that they love pit bulls? It's ridiculous. But at the end of the day, the American taxpayer, you pay for this. You pay for all this stuff. These organizations that this guy gets his pit bull from, they're 501c3 tax shelters. Then they can say, well, the dog is a foster. Then they can go out there and spend tons and tons of money on dogs. They're not going to put in a drive-in theater. They're not going to put a BMX track for little kids to ride on. They're not going to put in like a bird sanctuary where you can go out there and watch birds. Nope. They're going to sit there and spoil and put pit bulls into luxurious homes, all at the taxpayer expense. This whole situation relies on tons of ignorance as well. Read this comment. We have 5 dogs. I can't believe that people just let their dogs go. Well, you see, a lot of these dogs over there in the Carolinas come from dogfighting rings that get busted up. The dogs aren't let go. The dogs are taken away from people that are using them to fight and entertain each other. Then they go into shelters and humane societies, and then they get adopted. People think that these poor dogs were let go by some terrible individual, and that is not the case. Usually these dogs, if it's not fighting, they go into families, and then people realize, I can't have several pit bulls in my small apartment. I got bite marks on my arm. I got, a chihuahua that's killed because I got this pit bull, and I got to get rid of it. People don't think about all of the reasons people get rid of these pit bulls. People don't think about all the propaganda that goes into pushing these pit bulls out. At the end of the day, the pit bulls suffer too. Even if you're a pit bull lover, you got to look up all the pit bulls that are actually ended by police officers when police officers respond to bites. People push these pit bulls out, they foster them, adopt them, overbreed them, and the pit bulls at the end of the day, they're getting killed left and right. Go ahead and look up any of the cases where pit bulls are shot by police. Just an example of hundreds and thousands. These pit bulls go into families with frail women, young children that cannot control these dogs when they get that dog adrenaline. Pit bulls, when they go aggression, they go until they're dead, basically. People say that chihuahuas are more aggressive. Well, chihuahuas are more reactive. If a chihuahua bites you and you yell at it, it'll piss itself and run off. If a pit bull bites you and you yell at it, it'll just get more excited. But pit bulls are constantly having to be shot by police officers because a baseball bat, a bottle of water, bricks thrown at the pit bull, several German shepherds attacking a pit bull, it won't stop. So these police officers have to kill the pit bulls when these families realize they can't control the dog. So the propagating of pit bulls like Ginger Billy and everybody else does, at the end of the day, you're throwing pit bulls into bullets that are fired by police officers. So whether you like pit bulls or you don't, this is a conversation that everybody should take an interest in. Do some research, understand how all of these tax shelters work, and understand that at the end of the day, you're just making society worse for humans, and you're making life worse for pit bulls too.